our studio in Newport Beach, California. Welcome to another edition of the Chab Dog Sports Talk Radio Show. Sometimes scattered, but always edgy. We're an authentic take on sports talk. Rated R. Chab Dog brings you Eric, the well-read, Frank, the tank, Ryan from Sports Rock, and special guests. We're here to talk sports. We're here to rant and vent. We're here to take it up another notch. Now here's your host, Chab Dog.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Chab Dog Sports Talk. We're on each Sunday from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific Time, brought to you by Chabner Law, serving Southern California's business and transactional legal needs, and by Chab Dog Sports Blog for your head of your sports headlines and biting sports commentary. Find that out at more about that at chabdog.com. All right, well, we got a dreary day here, but nice light opening. Thank you for putting that new opening together, Eric.
Hey, Chab Dog.
Very, very creative and considerate of you. And, I helped you a little with that. And it's always nice to change things up a little bit. And we've got...
we've been using the other one for 2 years now, so it was time to freshen it up.
Yeah, we can always bring it back. But it was time for a little bit of a facelift. And I also liked your promo that you put together with our other co-host on the line, Frank Fleming from Sports Encyclopedia.
And Barstool.
Barstool. How could I forget Barstool? Yes.
And the New York Mets. Still negotiating to buy the team, are you, Tank?
Well, they're definitely appears there are out for sale now.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the odds, and the Mets are they're one of in the top 8, I think. They're the 8th most likely to win the World Series, I think.
In a short season, I could see that.
What do you think, Frank?
Tank?
Is there a reason for that kind of optimism?
Yes.
Why? Things have changed.
You seem so apathetic, Tank.
A title this year would.
Well, the Spurs blanking computer has the Mets going 9-30 to 41. With Ed Luis Diaz losing 26 games. And with an ERA of 142.6.
His ERA
and the next year,
computer's
Diaz,
broken.
And he's going to save 87 games and only allow 2 hits.
Not predicting a lot of offense.
That's what's the Mets jersey.
Doesn't sound like you believe the Mets offense is going to be there.
Well, the offense might be there. The problem is they got if Ed Luis Diaz pitches like he did last year, it's not going to be very good.
Oh, well, I think I misunderstood. I thought you said somebody was. Could you understand all that? I missed some of that. So the Mets' problem would be pitching, not hitting?
With ERA of 142 and 28 blown saves.
Yeah, 28 blown saves, but I heard that. Right? I think that's very dreary.
And Jacob deGrom is going to go 0-7 with an ERA of 0.86.
So he's never going to warm up
Well, no, so he's not going to get any
Actually,
run
no,
support.
he's going to be really good. He's going to have probably the best statistics ever.
And no run support.
But no run support. It's so Metsian.
But those are things that happen to the Mets.
Yeah, he's starting to win me over.
Okay, well, I know. Yeah, you'll be definitely. You'll start out with low expectations, and
you'll be happy. You won't have to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But they'll probably. Do you think they'll come strong out of the gate just to tease you, like maybe win the first 6 in a row?
Well, right, they haven't decided the playoff format. So right now, it's still the 5 teams, but supposedly they're still thinking about expanding the playoffs. which
Wow.
is completely half-assed. And speaking of half-assed, what the fuck, NHL?
What's going on with that?
Yeah.
Well, they had the draft lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And the draft lottery was the 7 teams that didn't make the playoffs, plus a mystery team that gets eliminated in the first round.
Okay, Mr. X.
Guess who gets the first pick this year?
The Devils.
Maple Leafs.
No, it's the mystery team that's going to get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh,
Oh, so we don't know.
so we don't know.
Yes.
That's weird.
Only the NHL can something that fucked up happen.
Yeah. Who wants to have to explain that to anybody? Well, at least now I have some more drama hinging on the playoffs. But I just can't. I just don't care about hockey anymore. I just really don't care.
No, they could just give
I
it up.
hate to say that, but
Yeah, I don't.
maybe I'll care if the Bruins are in the finals. But it's just
Well, Dr. Kellerman says that hockey should be banned.
Whose government said that?
Max Kellerman.
Oh, Max Kellerman.
why.
Well, you know why. Should be banned.
What's
Because
wrong?
it's not inclusive in
Yeah, there are no...
anything.
You know why there are no Asians playing in the NHL, Tank?
Why is that?
Because they have bad peripheral vision, right?
No, it's because whenever they get in the corner,
Just
they
kidding.
open a grocery store.
It's the same reason why you don't see NASCAR drivers.
Well, that's peripheral vision. Yeah.
Well, there was one Asian player, half Asian at least, that's a Hall of Famer.
In hockey?
Oh, sure, Stan Mikita.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a Japanese name
Well,
or something.
Sam Mikita was something else. He was Eastern European.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, maybe he was okay.
So who was the Japanese, or who was
Korean.
the Korean? Who was it?
Paul Correa.
Oh, Paul Correa.
Well, of course, Paul Correa was from Korea.
You just make that up.
From the grandparents from Korea, but yeah, he was. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. If he's not, he will be one day.
And there's a black player in the Hall of Fame too, isn't there? No?
Oh,
Isn't
we're getting a new one.
we're getting a new one?
We're getting a new one. Yeah.
Okay, who's that?
Well, Grant Fuhr is
Grant
in the Hall of
Fuhr
Fame
is what I
already.
was going to say.
There we are. Grant Fuhr.
Yeah.
Grant Fuhr is already in the Hall of Fame. Willie O'Ree is in the Hall of Fame, but not really as a player. He's as a contributor, as being the first black player.
Mm-hmm.
But just announced this week, Jerome Inglow will be inducted in 2021.
Yes.
In 2020.
Very proud of Jerome.
When the next induction is this week.
I don't know him.
Enigla
I don't
of
know him.
Calgary Flames.
Oh.
Yeah.
Calgary Flames, 600-goal scorer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a lot
He,
of goals.
he's going in first-time eligible.
Mhm.
He's only been retired for like 3 years, so it's a 3-year wait in hockey.
Mhm.
He was obviously going to go in with the 600 goals and all.
Mhm.
But Jerome Inglow will be the next. Will be the second black Hall of Famer in the
Yep.
NHL.
He's worthy. He's a good player.
Mm.
He belongs
Okay,
in
here
anybody's Hall of
So
Fame.
he's part Japanese.
Part Japanese.
His
Okay.
his father was Japanese and was born in an internment camp.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I forgot about that part of the
So
story.
yeah,
That's right.
Thank you, FDR.
There is reason in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, isn't
I
that
mean,
funny?
it's
The
all okay.
Democrats
It's
all
okay.
rounded up the Japanese and put them in internment camps. Isn't that funny, Tank? The Democrats and Roosevelt.
Well, this happened in Canada too.
Oh, I
He
know.
was in Vancouver.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, happened in Canada as well. They did the same thing up there.
Oh.
Mackenzie King, I think, was the prime minister at that time. You know, I also thought it was kind of funny. Oh, you're making noises, Chab Dog. I also thought it was kind of funny that the Democrats committed our armed forces into a war in this place called Vietnam. And then when they got pouty about it and couldn't get their way, they basically blamed the military for it.
We're on the air here. Did you get the call number?
Isn't that funny?
The Democrats hate the military.
Yeah, and it wasn't until the 80s that we came around and had parades and properly recognized our military. But the Democrats, yeah, they were all sucky about it. And that's what they're trying to pull off now. Sucky Democrats.
Okay,
I'm
back. Yeah, he's trying to call in, but I couldn't connect him.
Want to make military, want to change the military to be not about guns, but about aid for the third world. And they're going to conscript people for 10 years service.
Well, they already do. It's called the Peace Corps.
You have to live in the third world and help them do anything you want.
Mm-hmm. But don't
even
forget.
Even if they call for a blood sacrifice, we have to give our heart out.
He's still calling me. I can't.
We'll give him the number for their show.
I don't know the show's number.
You don't know the show's number.
I don't have it memorized.
Well, talk to Tank for a moment. I'll pull the number.
All right. Okay. Hello. Hey. So, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was NBA. I saw some. Did they come out with new rules about what's going to happen with NBA?
They came out with the schedule that they're going to play that brief.
They're going to finish the season up. Yeah, so they're going to. So how many 70 more games do they play before they start the season?
It's like 8 or something. Which is completely asinine.
Yeah, why don't they just end it? I mean, what's the point of that? I guess to give people enough prior notice about the playoffs so that you can.
Well, they want to move up for seeding. I know one of the first games is LA.
With those teams are
going
up.
to be the Lakers Clippers is going to be on that first night.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and text him that.
Okay. And then I saw they all have to wear masks. So that's
that was a joke, right?
Is that really true?
That was a joke. Please tell me it's a joke, Tank.
I don't think they have to wear masks.
Okay.
Be on the bench.
Thank God. I'm pissed off at Stewart for sending me that because I was in a global mood.
Well, I think that was a joke, though. I think he didn't send it to piss you off. He sent it just to...
Because, I can't imagine somebody trying to play basketball with a mask.
Well, to do any sport with a mask on.
That's asinine. I mean, it's just not going to work.
No.
Who's going to pay to see that? All right. I'll be right back. I'm helping somebody get onto the show.
But with masks in general, Tank, can you see, with the testing that's going on, we're starting to see that about 10, 20, 30% of players of any sports right now are testing positive for this. And I believe that's going to ultimately be a good outcome. We might as well get all this out of the way right now. And to the point where, okay, let's say we're into the season, and what if a player tests positive? Then what? They can shut the whole Mets down for 2 weeks? Or is it just that player gets pulled out of the lineup? Do you have any idea how that works?
2 weeks.
So the player goes down?
Player gets okay. 2 weeks. And then from my understanding, he has to have 2 negative tests to come back.
Okay. I wonder how long it's going to be, how long that'll be in place before we just say, pardon my language, fuck it, and people just start playing through. I think it'll take a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 90 days.
Which we had Sanjay Gupta.
Oh, yeah.
We need 3 years of no contact before we should give back our lives.
3 years.
And he actually says, the part of the blame is that we're still eating meat.
Oh, yes, of course.
Eat meat again.
Yeah.
And then we had this other guy with this flaming hair. He now said that the problem with America is that we're too individual. We should all eat the same thing. We should all dress the same. And we should all tear down. We need to change the country completely. We should live like North Korea. It'll be a beautiful place. It'll be much fresher. And he says we should have a diamond of things. The celebrities have all the rights and get to do things, that our political leaders get to do anything they want and have all the money they want, that they could party together, and then we'll have the black people, they could do anything they want,
Thank
and
you,
all white
Sanjay.
people you get slaves and in the grind because of all their past things, that transgressions, and that the only thing they get to do is drink vinegar, no pure water, and eat just sludge.
You know, it's always who you least suspect it. I think you're onto something here, Tank, with your, what would we call it? You couldn't say you were in blackface, but you were in Indian voice and channeling India. And maybe it's been India all along that's been behind everything.
Guy that was, you got to see this guy that this is the guy that actually came on TV, said the problem in America is that we're too obsessed with freedom.
Oh, we are? Okay. Says a guy from India. It's like, okay, which is cool. I mean, I guess everyone has assholes too. You know, we got opinions, and that's fine. And he's entitled to his opinion. But are we? And what's wrong with that? Is my answer. Yeah. What's wrong with being obsessed with freedom? What's wrong with redefining it and defining it and ripping it apart again and testing it over and over again and seeing where it works and seeing where it fails? What's wrong with that?
And this guy that says we have too many freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
People, 97% of people under the age of 25 agreed with him. And they had this one kid who was like 19. Says, I was born white. I have so many freedoms. It's poison. It's poison what we do.
He was born white.
And like this, it's poison. He says that they should execute anyone that eats meat.
His parents.
He had on his shirt.
His parents
He
need
had
to be
a picture
executed.
of Tony Butler on his shirt.
Mm-hmm. We have Jane Fonda.
Speaking of
Well,
Jane Fonda.
what McCall wants to do?
What's that?
They want to get rid of the Vietnam Memorial
Mm-hmm.
in Washington and paint a mural of Jane Fonda on it, and get rid of the statue of the American troops
Mm-hmm.
near the Vietnam War with Jane Fonda on her gun aiming at American troops.
Well, I know Jane.
Barbarella.
Well, she looked better in Barbarella.
Yeah, they're gonna paint on the Vietnam Memorial. They're gonna paint Jane Fonda with Che, Mao, Ho Chi Minh on the Vietnam Memorial.
Oh.
Yeah, because they deserve to be there too. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, be Khrushchev or maybe Brezhnev.
Frank, this was 1979, so you have your choice of various movie clips we could play. Do you want to hear some Jerk? You like that movie?
That was good.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a bad movie from 1979?
Sure.
And a movie that should have destroyed the franchise? You ever see the original Star Trek movie?
Yeah, that was the first one. Was 1979.
I can't. I've never watched it all the way through. I've never brought myself to do it. It's painful.
It's
to
that
watch
bad?
the very first movie.
That wasn't the one with Ricardo Montalban,
No,
right?
that was number 2.
Okay. Revenge of
No,
Khan.
the Part of Montalban was the good one.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
was the best of the movies.
I like that
But
one.
the first one is so slow and agonizing. They have like
Play that.
like in the first, there's a scene where they're taking a shuttle to get back on the Enterprise, and the shuttle circles the Enterprise, and they're playing the music for like 6 minutes. Why the fuck are we just circling the Enterprise for 6 minutes for just? I mean, what the fuck, man?
They needed to increase the runtime,
well,
obviously.
I think
And the final scene of the movie is there's this dark cloud coming to the Earth
Uh-huh.
that wants to find its creator. So they finally get to the heart of the dark cloud, and it's Voyager.
Yeah, it's the Voyager satellite. We shut up.
And they turned one of the people on the Enterprise. I forgot what her name was.
Yeah, it was
But
this,
she was bald-headed.
this bald-headed weird lady character, and she really actually she's another reason I was turned off
Sinead
by the
O'Connor type.
episode because it was just so I can't remember the details now, but she was just so unreal. It's like they didn't even try.
And she's like speaking for the computer, who she calls Viger.
Yeah.
So they get there and they find out it's Viger because some of the letters are missing.
Mm-hmm.
And then her and the new captain interface with the Viger, and that makes Viger happy, and he leaves him alone, leaves the Earth alone, and good God. In fact, this woman who is the bald-headed woman, she's Indian, I believe, or something like that, Pakistani.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's pretty in other
costumes. Woman who's in Nighthawks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Nighthawks.
good Rutger
That's the only movie I saw her in.
Rutger Hauer movie.
I like Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, and Sylvester Stallone was in that.
She was Rutger Hauer's girlfriend, the other terrorist that was killing people.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was good looking.
Yeah, I like that movie, Nighthawks.
Yeah, she looks better with hair on her head.
Yeah.
But she was completely bald. She was completely bald, in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of
kind of androgynous.
Speaking of balls, let's play him some Iron Balls McGinty from The Jerk.
1979.
And your apartment's
Cover your ears, there's a bad word
You
coming.
should have X amount of dollars rolling in by the end of this year.
Ah, X amount. That's very good, isn't it? Not only that, you can depreciate the entire building for the full amount. Depreciate. Very good. I like that.
And we found a way to get around this fair housing crap.
Ah, good. Getting around the cap. That's good. By keeping the rents high, we're going to appeal to a select class of people. Select class. Very, very good.
We'll keep the eggplants out.
Ah, good. We don't want any vegetables.
No, the jungle bunnies.
Oh, of course. They'll eat the vegetables.
Boss, can I talk to him? We're gonna keep out the niggers.
The what?
The niggers, we'll keep them out.
Yes.
Sir? You are talking to a nigger!
I mean, he's a scrawny little white man, but he's throwing all these guys around. He's wearing little chains. Black belt.
Into the pool. But now, he's going after the last guy. Kicks him in the groin.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Iron
Don't be
Balls,
so
Joe
hard on
McGinty.
yourself. How could you know that was Iron Balls McGinty?
Nice. Brendan.
Oh, Bernadette Peters. So pretty.
Monsieur Kerr for another important of Chateau Latour.
Ah, yes, but no more.
What?
Was that Tank?
It's another movie they couldn't make today.
Oh, good heavens, no.
No, they're gonna. I mean, I don't know how much longer it'll be up on YouTube because of the language. This doesn't matter how it's being used. If they got Jimmy Kimmel in a lot of trouble recently. Did you hear about that?
We have become a humorless society whose assholes are so tight they actually whistle when we walk now.
So you heard about that? What happened with Woodrow Wilson, right?
Well, Woodrow Wilson was an asshole.
Oh, I know. He was he had racist views, but he's associated with Princeton, like that's Princeton.
Oh yeah, New Jersey too.
And,
You know
was a
you know how
president
racist
for
Woodrow Wilson
8
is,
years.
though, don't you?
What's that?
You know how racist Woodrow Wilson is, don't you?
No.
He
racist.
had racist views. Yeah, I don't know how racist, but you can go ahead.
You know what the most racist movie of all time is, right?
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
Supposedly, he was actually the ghostwriter of that movie.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
I never saw it, so I don't know all the details about.
I know enough of it to know that that's,
And he when Birth of a Nation premiered, they premiered it at the White House. Now, this is a silent picture. This is the most racist movie of all time.
Yes.
And in the Birth of a Nation, basically the KKK is the hero of the movie.
Yeah, they save all the white women.
Oh, that's right. It's about the KKK. Yeah.
Woodrow Wilson, when the movie premiered, called it the most truthful story that's ever been told, and said it's 100% accurate as to what happened.
So he went all in. There's no question where he stood on the truth of the movie.
And the KKK was really at its high point in the 20s.
They're saying that he had something to do with the writing of it because he was so supported the movie so much, and D.W. Griffin there is the guy that ended up producing it and making the movie, who at the time was the biggest movie producer, director at the time.
Okay, I think we have him on now.
And Woodrow Wilson 100% supported that movie.
I'd like to get your Microsoft password, please.
What's this? Hello, you're on Chab Dog Sports Talk.
Hey, how's it going?
I thought I saw I heard an Indian voice in the background there. Is this Mark?
Oh, you're not listening at this time. I am not giving you an Indian accent at this time. That would not be politically correct, kindly.
If you stick it, you have to lick it.
You're listening, but you're not understanding.
I don't know why you want to come in here and buy Saran wrap at 2 a.m.
Everyone likes to buy Saran wrap and he loves banana. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I literally had my smog guy that does the smog on my car is a dude from Pakistan, and he heard me do my accent once, and every time I visited him since then, he says, "You must do the accent again, my friend. I love to hear you do the Indian accent. I will do it at this time if you will do it as well."
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great accent. If you get the cadence down, you have to get it down. So let me make introductions here. This is Mark Hopkins from one of my Facebook friends, and really creating quite a stir with all of his political views and his videos to go with it. And you're on Chab Dog Sports Talk with my co-host Eric Sauve.
Hey, Mark. You're welcome on. And this is fitting because this is the week that all characters on The Simpsons that are not, their voice doesn't match their race are being fired. So Apu was removed this week officially.
Oh, they were doing a lot of that?
Yeah. So he's gone, and whoever else. Oh, and who does the Black Cleveland?
Creative talent like Blazing Saddles, which couldn't get made today.
No.
And it's one of the classic comedies of all time.
Yeah.
And everybody in it enjoyed working that shoot. So to do...
Well, yeah, they're a bunch of Jewish actors. Brilliant.
Cartoon.
That was the whole point. Yeah, it was the Jewish... It was like the best... It was like a dream team of Jewish actors and producers on that film. And because they are Jewish, I mean, as a non-Jewish person, I saw it as their way of being able to play both sides and say, well, you can't come after us because everyone else has been shitting on us for all of eternity here. So we're going to turn around and have fun on both the blacks and the whites and the Germans.
Well, not only eternity, just the last 5,000 years.
Well, okay, I guess I exaggerate.
you go, the last 5,000 years. But, they made black guys work. Oh, my God, you were made to work. We got people that received real genocide, whether it's Jews or Native Americans. That was actual genocide. It wasn't, that Native American rushed up on a cowboy, tried to steal a six-shooter, so the cowboy shot him when he tried to take his gun.
Precisely. Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. It was.
You're the bad guys for saying it, because you're supposed to say, why couldn't they just give him everything in the store? Just because the other guy worked his butt off for 20 years trying to get his business going, why shouldn't he just give everything away to this guy? He has to smoke some crack tomorrow. You're not being very nice. That's not very tolerant of you, so I'll burn down your house.
Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, in the LA area, for theft under 1,000 is not even arrestable anymore. So you must let people come into your store and shoplift all they want.
Oh, yeah, shoplift all you want. And see that guy that's missing the front plate on his car? Well, we're going to make him pay his $150 ticket, but you just went into the store, punched the clerk in the face, and stole everything under the register. Go ahead. As long as it's $998, you're good.
And they won't take you in for DUI anymore. If you resist arrest, we'll just come. We'll just run off wherever you want. We'll find you later. No problem. You have to come in tonight. So arrest is optional.
What they really should have done with Brooks? They should have said, "I'll tell you what, jackass. You walk your drunk ass home, and you'll understand. We're going to vandalize and then set your car on fire. You can pick it up."
That would have been a more hood way to do it. Hood justice. And that would have worked.
Yeah, and then when the guy comes up the next day, what? They set my car on fire. Well, I thought that was what you're supposed to do. That's the normal thing, right? I wrote that you're a piece of crap on the car, and then I set it on fire, and then I had all my officers urinate in the windows. I mean, you got out of the DUI.
That's the Zebulon Pike treatment, right?
Enjoy your life tomorrow.
Well, Mark, I've got to introduce you to Frank Fleming from New Jersey. He's the other co-host on the line here in Tank. You got to get a piece of this. Get in here.
Oh, no, another guy from Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they actually came out today. They had someone out there talking. You know what the problem is? Property is just more example of white privilege. We shouldn't have property. The only people who should have things are the celebrities and us politicians because we're better than you. Everyone else should be a peasant. And people going and washing clothes, that's another example of white privilege.
Yeah, you should just wash your clothes in fabric softener.
Eating meat is also an example of bigotry.
These two guys.
Is it? Is eating meat bigotry? What happens when I present you with a chicken sandwich from Popeyes?
We have to get a cultural exception for that one.
It's funny. I went and I tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich. I tried the Wendy's chicken sandwich, and I tried the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Okay.
And instead of getting anything constructive out of my super liberal once friend of 30 years who I dumped talking to completely, who now lives in Colorado, my now ex-friend, she said, "I bet you that Chick-fil-A tasted like hate." And I said, no, it actually was the best spice out of the three, and I didn't get what the hype was about Popeyes because I didn't think it was that great. I thought Wendy's was okay, Popeyes was okay, but the best tasting, hottest spice was the Chick-fil-A. Well, they believe in traditional marriage. Yeah, so do I. And I'm in an interracial traditional marriage. So how fucking cool am I?
Yeah, you got to mute.
You're beyond contempt. Yeah.
I had Chick-fil-A yesterday. Funny you should mention Chick-fil-A.
Well, go ahead. Tell us about your experience.
You get the waffle fries?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Good. It's very hard to find Chick-fil-A here in New Jersey. But I was out I went to the miniature golf place yesterday, and
oh yeah,
there's a Chick-fil-A that's like a half a mile away from there, and I stopped right in at Chick-fil-A and had my first Chick-fil-A in about 2 years. Since I was the last time I had Chick-fil-A, I was flying out to Idaho and stopped by at the Denver airport.
He really remembers that. That's a memory. All right, well, so it's good.
You're in New Jersey and you had to go to Denver.
Well, it's amazing he came back to New Jersey.
I was in Denver. I was on my way to Idaho.
Don't you have a crazy buck-tooth moron that is the governor of your city? We have a complete idiot governor in California, and I'm assuming that the idiot that everybody voted for out of pure spite for Christie has really turned around and kicked them in the butt for that. Oh, we didn't like that Christie sat on the beach, and screw him and all of his policies. And then you end up with, what's his face? Murphy, I believe his name is.
Yeah, Bill Murphy. Total moron.
He looks like it. He looks like the kid that would sit in class and go, "You forgot to give us homework, teacher."
Yes, he does.
I can just imagine that.
He does.
So what part of Jersey is
Dweeb,
this guy from? I'm from the grassy part, South Jersey.
Well, I'm in North Jersey, real Jersey. The South Jersey is the Pine Barrens.
Yeah, so you get the pollution, and we get the set of Deliverance.
That's the joke.
You got a pretty mouth,
really,
boy. You're going to do some praying.
Tell it about South Jersey.
Sorry, we can't play any Deliverance clips.
We have them all memorized, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was a guy in South Jersey right outside of Pittman, and he sold restored Mustangs. And this is before word got out what they were worth. So he was doing a really good deal on a running Mustang. And this was about 1987, 1988. So I flew back there with my first wife, who was a little German gal I met in Berlin, and we checked out this guy's Mustangs. But to get to him, he's on a farm that was converted to a junkyard. He's off of one of the major thoroughfares in New Jersey. And you go knock on the door, and the door opens, and it's this lady with glasses about a quarter-inch thick, covered in grease, and she doesn't speak at all. And I said, "Is the guy with the Mustangs here?" And she just kind of nodded and grunted. And then this huge bit of drool dribbled from her mouth, and she snapped her hand by and caught it, and then wiped it on her clothes, and then pulled on this string next to the door. Which, don't worry, Bubba, it wasn't a noose. It was just a string. When she pulled on the string, it set off one of those whoop, 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 whoop alarms. And this guy comes walking back from the field with his shotgun over his shoulder, and he goes, "You hear about the Mustang?" And my then German wife was going, "Are we in a movie? This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen." You got the crazy inbred-looking lady drooling, and then the husband comes in out of Deliverance to tell us about the Mustangs, and off to the left was literally a cage with 3 bloodhounds in there. And I went, "Are we in New Jersey or the worst part of Tennessee? I really don't know what's happening right now."
Yeah, bring on the gimp.
The worst part of Tennessee.
Yeah,
Yes.
I went to a map of New Jersey, and they had like the area that's like Cumberland County and things like that. It said that you might as well be in fucking Alabama.
Oh, yeah. There's parts of New Jersey that literally could have been dropped in the middle of Alabama in a Twilight Zone episode, and nobody would have known the difference. The Ku Klux Klan marched in the Pittman, New Jersey, 1926 4th of July parade. And Pittman also had the last standing until about 3 years ago Women's Christian Temperance Union water fountain that was to prevent you from drinking alcohol. And it was put up by the WTCU so that you had a horse trough on one side and a people water fountain on the other side to prevent you from drinking alcohol. So it was literally a dry town until about 2012, 2016, and all of the best bars in the area were people's basements.
Oh,
They've been converted.
Yeah, I've got the whole, like when you go through Kentucky, most of that state, most of the counties are dry. And they like it that way.
Yeah.
They keep it that way. Yeah, it's not, they're fine because it keeps their shine, the local shine industry alive. And they have their own
I met the
taxes on
coolest
that.
dude from Louisiana when I lived in Tennessee who had a restaurant called the Crazy Cajun. And his little motto was, "I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. I'm the Crazy Cajun." And this guy would sell moonshine. And I said, "How do you get the moonshine from South Carolina all the way to Tennessee? What do you do about the law enforcement?" "Son, some of my biggest customers are law enforcement." So this dude would literally fill the trunk of his Cadillac with moonshine and just drive it up to Tennessee, and you could get whatever flavor you wanted, strawberry, peach, blueberry, that was perfectly good quality, high-quality moonshine that they then let the fruit just disseminate its flavor into the moonshine.
Oh, it's the best. That moonshine stuff they sell.
It's awesome.
Excellent. So, Mark, you're an actor, right? Is it?
I was an actor until my meter kept moving further and further to the right the more BS I kept seeing in the last 4 months. And that just pushed me from being pretty much centered a little bit further over to the right, because the more BS I saw, especially since 2016, where you said, okay, they tried to do a fake Russian collusion thing. Maybe they'll get over the fact Hillary didn't win. Nope, they didn't get over it. They went from Russian collusion to let's see what we can do about impeaching him because he dared to ask what Biden's shenanigans were. Biden's shenanigans were okay. The fact that you asked about them, that's like, well, he was robbing that liquor store, and that's okay. But the fact that you arrested him for robbing it, that's where we have a problem.
Pretty much.
It's total insanity what's going on in this country right now. I mean, no more fucking Aunt Jemima.
Uncle Ben's.
And to tell you, they want to tear down all statues, even Lincoln and U.S. Grant.
Oh, Grant! Grant was an amazing president. Yes, he liked the tricks, but he got the job done, as did Sherman. I mean, if we had a guy like Sherman now, he would have said, oh, you got a problem with Atlanta? You like burning things? I like burning things. Let me set you guys straight.
Sherman used a very direct approach.
Bring down Atlanta, didn't he?
And so did Frank Rizzo from Philadelphia.
Sherman tank after him?
These members moved in, no running plumbing. They just crap all over the place, which would be Gavin Newsom's wet dream. But the move members took over a couple of houses in Philadelphia, and they said, well, we are a primitive movement that hates white people, and we're going to move here. We're not going to pay rent. We're not going to worry about plumbing. A rat problem developed, and Frank Rizzo said, I got a way to get him out of there, and I'll get him out of there. And then they tore down the Frank Rizzo statue. And what kills me, or annoys me, I should say, is, oh, well, you know, slavery, that was something very serious. And you talk about Martin Luther King and how he protested. Well, what did we get since Martin Luther King? I'll tell you what you got. You got every time I turn on the TV, I don't see a face that looks like me. You're doing pretty damn well on the TV commercials, aren't you? I can't watch any commercial for any project, any pharmaceutical, whether it's a phone company, whether it's getting your house rewired. It's always a happy black family, which I don't have a problem with that, but it's just saying, hey, you've made it. When I turn on the radio, can I find a black artist if I'm looking for one?
No. They don't want equality. They want fucking revenge. They're not going to be happy until we're in fucking chains and we're fucking. Your name? What's your name? My name is Toby. No, it's Kunta Kinte. That's when they're going to be happy.
Exactly. And you're a little bit late, you know, because everybody that did this is already dead, and everybody that received this is already dead. So dig up the one guy and put the money in his pocket from the other guy, because you're not getting any from me. And the little video I watched, that's probably going to get me blacklisted in Hollywood. The video, all I said basically was, you've had a golden age. You're in every form of media. You've had a mayor. You've had a president, in quotes, because I don't know where that guy was really born, and I'm not going to go with he just has been born in, you know, Montana or Hawaii, and he only has a Massachusetts Social Security number. That sounds pretty kosher to me, but the guy did nothing for black people. And I was talking about my 87-year-old black buddy that owned a window covering store. This dude grew up in the real era of Jim Crow. He was born in 1937, and his business did phenomenally well. And he's told me more than once. He goes, most of my customers are white people. They've been great to me. He said, the whole city of San Pedro loves me. He said, you know what kind of women I date, Mark? And I said, who? He goes, I date black women and I date white women. I already was married to a black woman. I'm done with it. And I said, well, good for you, BJ. And he says, you want him to start calling myself? I said, tell me what? And he goes, I start calling myself a Negro, because that's what it says on my birth certificate. You know, at first I was a Negro, then I was colored. Now I'm a black guy. He goes, but they change it every 6 months. I'm not changing it. BJ is the coolest dude you'd ever meet. If you get a chance to talk to that guy, 87 years old, he's on one medication for blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else. he does with diet and exercise. He's still out there dating. He's still out there dancing. He finally retired his business at age 86.
Got a pretty good life.
Very good life. Wow. That's impressive.
He came up during all the rough periods. You know?
Well, you're welcome to have him on my show. Do you see they want to rename John Wayne Airport? Did you hear about that?
Oh, I'm up in arms about that.
Can you believe that?
No.
What the hell?
What John Wayne's discretion was?
He was a
You're gonna
Republican.
crack up.
That's all I know.
They said he was a racist because he dared to say if black leadership had responsible leadership and people that were not taking money on the dole and not, screwing up the voting system, then they could do okay. That was his sin. He said they needed quality leadership. And thank God he was wrong, because I'll tell you, the mayor of D.C. caught doing crack with prostitutes.
Oh, yeah.
He was just top-notch.
Marion Barry, right?
Obama did was top-notch.
No, Mark, Al Sharpton. I mean, he's clearly he was wrong.
You want to get rid of I predict when Biden wins, we're going to get a new national anthem.
Biden's not going to win.
What's going to be the national anthem, though? Want to play some of that disco rap?
Oh, Rapper's Delight.
Rapper's Delight.
Did you see my video I did of Biden where I took his speeches and set music behind it?
And his vice president will be either Kamala Harris or Stacey Abrams.
He'll probably go with Abrams.
Here's a little sample of the national anthem we can look forward to.
That's a danceable beat. The old anthem, it wasn't danceable, so we did cross-focus surveys, and they said repeatedly.
Maybe, Mark,
danceable.
maybe you should do some videos with this as the background music.
I hear Macklemore's going to write it.
Jump to some lyrics.
Yeah.
Far you've heard my voice, but I brought two friends along. And next on the mic is my man.
The leadership of now. Bow down your head and you grovel and Black lives matter, white lives matter, splatter. We gotta. Revenge is great. Revenge is nice. Now you're gonna realize what it's like to be a slave. We go to America. That's what the new song's gonna be like.
Yeah, I like the reference to Mao there. It was very moving.
So, Mark, how old are you? Are you our age? Are you
Our age.
What's that?
56.
Oh.
50, he's right in the heart of our the bread basket there. We're
The demographic.
I'm 54. You're 54.
Mm-hmm.
Frank's younger, but so you remember we were talking about some of the things in 1979, and where are you from? You're from New Jersey?
I am originally from a small town in New Jersey, and then I left Pittman and I went to Manhattan Beach, which was a big culture shock. And then I lived in Berlin for 2 years, and then I came back.
Oh, so you lived in Manhattan Beach, California?
Yes, I did.
Well, I live there now. That's where I live. Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll have to go and have some food at El Gringo.
Oh, yeah. El Gringo is like classic. Good, low price. Nice food, though. It's good food, Mexican food.
Go for drinks at Ercles first.
Yeah, Ercles. You know Ercles. Ponchos. Do you know Ponchos?
If you want to get all vegan, the Spot's pretty good. I always enjoyed that place.
Oh.
Oh, Spot's great. That's down in Hermosa.
Okay.
Yeah, my time in Manhattan Beach was sort of charmed. I moved into a house on 8th Street, and it was me and 3 women living in the house. And I had the absolutely smallest room, and which was great because I literally only slept in it. But the rent at the time in 1984 was $200 a month for my room
Whoa.
out of this house.
That's like free.
With 3 women.
Yeah.
And did you ever get to sleep in any of their bedrooms too?
No, we had an annoying, super liberal fat chick. We had a super Christian chick.
Oh.
And then the most palatable of the 3 was the Latin chick. But she had some mental issues. And then she moved her crazy brother in, whose desire was to one day be a sheriff, but he spent all of his time sitting in the room cleaning his gun.
Nice. That's a good, wholesome activity.
Like Tackleberry on Police
Academy.
Academy.
That's a very wholesome activity. I wish more American youth need to just stay home and clean their guns.
Gun. Okay. So you were in South Jersey. So did you root for the Baltimore teams or the Philadelphia teams?
Are you a Mets fan? Tell me you're a Mets fan.
It's funny. I was the dorky, skinny kid that got bullied a lot, which is probably why my attitude is what it is now. But I wasn't really big into team sports because nobody ever wanted to let me play. They would go, yeah, the kid with cerebral palsy, him, the guy in the wheelchair. Yeah, we'll get to Mark at the end, maybe. So I was never on the team. But, at the time, I was into the Eagles, which I've since learned my mistakes. And my best friend from high school, who's a complete nut, he is a huge Packers fan. So he got me gravitating more towards the Packers. So for football, I watch the Packers. I don't really watch the other sports because they just got really annoying. As soon as the one idiot started kneeling, I'm like, dude, you are more white-looking than me. You're paler than me. You got adopted by a white family, and you're bitching as you make millions for playing a game. You play a game, and you're upset. How about you put some of that into your community instead of just bitching about it?
I guess he has in his definition.
Well, you heard what Beyonce said. Beyonce was talking about reparations. She says she wants every last dime of her reparation money. And she says that she hoped it come from somebody making minimum wage so I could wave the money in their face.
Yeah, that's a real attitude.
And they had it on top at the awards show going, yay! Woo!
I actually have Facebook in front of me right now, and it has the movement for BLM demands. They want reparations, no bail, release all prostitutes from jail. Well, they have to be hot ones, not the ugly ones. And they
release
should just,
prostitutes.
What does that give them jobs as weather ladies or something. That would be hilarious. No death penalty. We don't have a death penalty now. There's only one state that really does it, and that's Texas. California, you get the death penalty. It's like, ooh, the death penalty, yay. They never do it. If you did the death penalty, pay for per view, and you put it on TV, and you put some of the money made from that pay-per-view back to the victims of whoever this guy killed, then I could see it catching on again. But the death penalty is a joke. I mean, I'm 56. You gave me the death penalty, I would go, what am I going to do, make it to 60, living in there doing nothing, reading a book? Maybe I'll get my law degree.
Exactly.
Ooh,
let's not start ragging on lawyers.
Give me the death penalty.
Yeah.
Pretty much guarantees life.
The left on this country is so ass backwards, and of course the media. Well, the media just keeps telling you. I mean, we look who all the media members are right now. You got that bitch on MSNBC with that fucking smirk of hers.
Oh, Rachel.
You got that guy, that Chris Harris with the glasses. Chris Harris saying. We don't need sports. What we need is a simpler society, and we should just get together and eat nothing. But we should all eat the same thing every day, and then we should just dress all alike. And this country is so evil. It's just so bad. Look how smart I am. I got glasses. And if you don't agree with me, you're stupid.
Who's that angry guy with the short haircut? Rachel something. Rachel Maddow. That dude always looks upset.
Angry guy?
That smoked Smurf.
You guys
is it wrong for me to say that? She's doing her damnedest to look like a dude. I'll just go ahead and call her one.
You guys can always watch One American News. You don't have to watch MSNBC.
I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch any of the news. I just get everything I need off of your sports program or Facebook.
Oh, that's nice of you. So have you listened to a bunch of episodes or what? I mean, have you heard any things through the whole way?
I've listened to some of the episodes, and I am not, what do you want to call it, participating in this one.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just curious. So, did you hear the ones from like 2 years ago when we have different people on periodic?
No, I only checked a few of them in the past 2 days. I'm such an evil white guy that what I've been doing is caretaking my 87-year-old Latin father-in-law. So I spend a lot of time running him back and forth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, the guy on the second hour, he does that as well, and he runs some other sites as an administrator on Facebook. So you'll get, if you stay on, you can meet him. And
you know what I like? Is the people. All the Trump supporters, they're so racist. Look at that guy over there, Terrence Williams. You know what he is? He's a house Negro. He's another racist. But he's black. No, he hates being black. He's an Oreo cookie. All black people need to agree with us. If they're not really black. If you're not, don't vote for Joe Biden. You're not black.
I don't know.
Poor Joe. He's heard that said so many.
You know, he's right.
He's right with that.
Well, they're not black enough.
Well,
it actually tells things. Have you ever had a Jewish guy tell you, you're not Jewish enough. You're not white enough. You're not Scottish enough.
Well, he's certainly not Asian enough.
That is insulting.
Yeah.
You know what this media did? The media we now live in the age of the Running Man.
Oh, wouldn't that be a great
Remember
show
the
now?
Running Man with Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
That's a great movie. I need to see that come to
I do need to see
come
that.
to fruition.
Yeah. I never
The
saw
only
that
thing
movie.
that's not true is we don't have that game show yet.
Yeah, with Richard Dawson. Yeah.
Yeah, Richard
But the
Dawson.
beginning part when Arnold Schwarzenegger refuses to shoot the people, the protesters going for the food.
That's right.
But then he gets arrested, and then they find him responsible for the massacre of those people doing the food, and they doctored the video.
Yeah, they rigged the evidence.
That's what our media is like today.
Mm-hmm.
The media that was in Running Man is the media that we have today.
Yeah.
And
the media
Donald Trump
is unreliable. It's awesome.
And Donald Trump is Ben Richards. Donald Trump is Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie.
Well, he could also be Richard.
Pretty much.
He could be Richard Dawson in a sense too.
So, Mark, do you agree with Tank that Tank thinks that?
No. Richard Dawson. Richard Dawson is Joe Biden.
Dawson is Biden.
But I was going to ask Mark if he agrees that with Tank, who thinks Tank's been saying all along that Biden's a shoo-in, he's going to win big, or he's going to win, and so there's nothing that can be done to change that result. Do you think that's the same thing, or it's a foregone conclusion?
No, I don't think so. I think I can't agree that Biden's going to win legitimately. They may try to steal it, and then they'll have to have a recount, and they'll have to deal with everything they dealt with Hillary.
Oh, so you think it's going to be a recount situation? Wow. What a nightmare.
These idiots go to the electoral college. It's mind-boggling. But you have to consider their level of education. These kids were given trophies just for showing up.
Yep.
And then they go,
that is the exact thing that destroyed this country. That was the nail. That was the thing that the liberals have been trying to get us to accept communism for 50 years, and it wasn't until everyone gets a trophy that they finally found a generation that accepted it.
That's right. They started early there. We'll still beat it.
well, if we're lucky, maybe COVID will take them out.
Well, that takes out the strong
But
old people.
COVID's not doing the job. COVID's not working.
Murder hornets.
So they switched from COVID not putting people in submission enough to the whole fiasco with this Floyd character, who they always seem to pick. Is it just me, or does BLM always pick the worst of the worst and go, oh, no, this is our hero now, Trayvon. He was such a promising thing.
Well, we got to go to our break.
And we have Brian Keller on Sports Rock.
Trayvon was trying to get high. With Trayvon, you know what Trayvon had?
Trayvon Martin.
He had like...
He was trying to make a lead.
Trayvon
Yeah,
Martin.
that's what he was making. He was making leads.
Which he shouldn't normally be killed for. It's just a shame. But then he did also take on...
He tried to steal the Latin guy's pistol.
Yeah, the gentleman, a court found him not guilty of murder and even of manslaughter, so I'll go with the jury verdict there because I believe in America and our judicial system.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we're at the break now, so
We are at the break.
Brian will properly welcome you in.
Thank you. Yeah, Tank's got to run and do his laundry now.
Okay.
Good luck, Tank. I hope you find an empty machine somewhere.
Well, Mark, you're welcome to stay on for part where we're going to have another hour, but we're going to a break first, so we'll be right back.
And the Chab Dog Sports Talk Radio shows our break time where we refill our cups of coffee right now.
Let's refill and restock.
Yep. We'll catch you on the other side.
All right.
You good, Chab Dog?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're told that greatness is exceptional, that it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great, go be brilliant, go be you, go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life Gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit DefyLifeGear.com to get fitted for greatness.
The law office of Brandon S. Chabner, serving clients in Southern California with transactional legal services since 2007. We handle general, corporate, outside counsel type work, drafting and negotiating a wide variety of business and commercial contracts, including non-disclosure agreements, independent contractor agreements, and employment agreements. Our experience includes working with public and private companies and involves a broad range of industries, including healthcare, consumer products, real estate, and high technology. Mr. Chabner has over 20 years of legal experience, having worked for some larger national firms and serving as general counsel for a multi-million-dollar private company here in Southern California before starting his own legal practice. His educational credentials include a law degree from UCLA, where he was on law review, undergraduate degree at Yale, where he graduated magna cum laude, and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Other areas of focus for Chabner Law include press release and business plan editing, pre-litigation matters, and debt and mortgage resolution work. You can contact us at 310-698-0740 and at bchabner@chabnerlaw.com.
But Chabner said that he was 100% right.
He can take all comers.
The forces returns Vietnam.
Hey, what's that?
Arc light.
What's up?
B-52 strike.
Yeah. What's that?
Arc light.
I hate that. Every time I hear that, something terrible happens.
Charlie don't never see him or hear him, man.
There they are.
Concussion will suck the air out of your damn lungs.
Something terrible's gonna happen. Smoke!
Secondary burning.
Huey's over there. Lots of Hueys.
Let's have a look, Chief.
It was the air cab, first of the night.
That's them.
Our escorts to the mouth of the Nung River. But they were supposed to be waiting for us another 30 kilometers ahead. Well, Air Mobile. Those boys just couldn't stay put. First of the Ninth was an old cavalry division that had cashed in its horses for choppers and gone terrassing around Nam looking for the shit. They'd given Charlie a few surprises in their time here. What they were mopping up now hadn't even happened yet an hour ago.
camera. Just keep going. Go on, keep going. It's the television. Don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera. Just go by like you're fighting. Like you're fighting. Don't look at the camera. It's the television. Just go through. Go through. Just go by. Keep on going. Don't look. Go on through. Keep going. Don't look at the camera. Go on, keep going. All right, come on.
Where can I find the CO?
That's the colonel coming down!
CO's on that jump.
Lieutenant, bomb that tree line back about 100 yards! Give me some room to breathe! Yes, sir! Body charge! Sir! Bring my body charge! Yes, sir! We're all right for the tanks. It's all right, Captain.
Captain Willard, I carry priority papers for ComSec Intelligence, 2 Corps. I understand the Trang has briefed you on the requirements of my mission.
What mission? I haven't heard from the Trang.
Sir, your unit's supposed to escort us into the Nung.
Well, we'll see what we can do, but just stand in my way till this is done, Captain. Let's see what we have. 2 spades, 3 of spades, 4 diamonds, 6 of clubs, 8 of spades. Isn't one worth a jack of the whole bunch?
Hey, Captain! What's that?
Discharge!
What?
Discharge! Let Charlie know who did this.
Cheer up, son. Fire in the hole!
This is an area that is controlled by the Vietcong and North Vietnamese. Tình báo cho chúng tôi biết làng này đã bị Việt Cộng và Cộng sản bắt. We are here to help you. Tôi đến đây là để giúp đỡ các.
All right, we're back. That was a clip from a 1979 movie. Do you guys know that movie?
Which movie? I don't know.
Yeah.
That was pre-79.
Yeah. Oh, we got... all right, well, let's first make introductions here. I got Brian Keller on the line. He's with Sports Rock, which is a great group on Facebook for music and sports. And Brian's been a caller on a lot of he's now technically a co-host. And we've got Mark Hopkins, who's one of my Facebook friends, and he was on for the first hour. And did someone else call in?
Yes, we have a new caller.
Okay, well, is that Jack? Who is this? Is this Jack?
Yeah, it's Jack Nunn.
Oh, okay. And we successfully got about 6 people on, or 5 people on.
Mm-hmm. It's really a party line. We usually have trouble with this.
So if we can keep this orderly, that'll be amazing. But yeah, and Jack is how do you? Is there like a top 10 list for your sport for triathlons? Where are you like ranked? Do you have a ranking in the world, or is it just in the United States?
Ranking. I just do it for fun. I'm way too big. I'm 6'3" and 220, so I'm definitely not your typical triathlete. I just do it for fun, and then for personal, goals. And my dream was to do the Kona World Championships Ironman. I did that last year, so I've accomplished that goal, and then I may do a few more, but I'm already at 16 Ironmans around the world, so I'm kind of coming to the end of that a little bit, just because I feel like I've done enough, and I feel like it's not fun anymore. So I feel like I may have a few more left in me, maybe next year. I was planning on doing 2 in Europe this year, but I deferred them because I had such a crazy year last year. And I also did the Ultraman, which is this ultra triathlon, which is basically a 3-day event. It's a 6.5 mile swim and a 270-mile bike and a 52-mile run over 3 days. So
only 3
days. Only 50 people do that for each one, and then only like a handful of people finish. They have one in Hawaii that's like the championships. So I've qualified for that. So
nice.
For life. So if I ever wanted to take up that, since I finished that one in Florida, they have a few around the world. I think one in Brazil, Florida, Canada, Arizona, and then the championships are in Hawaii. So that it's a very small group. I believe it's the longest planned group like triathlon. I mean, there's others that are longer, that are crazier, but it just gets kind of insane when you go that far.
And how much can you win if you win?
Anyway,
what's the prize money like?
If you win Ironman World Championships or any Ironman, it's pretty. I mean, I want to say it varies, but I think Kona. If you win Kona, like Jan Frodeno, a German guy, won Kona last year. I think it's $150,000 or something like that, plus a car. So it's substantial. I think a marathon is anywhere from, well, that definitely varies. The more major marathons you win, about 50,000. It's not, it's not a huge. It's not as much as you think, but Kona is pretty substantial. I think any other regular Ironmans are like 25,000 to 50,000, and then it drops considerably from there. The top 5 usually get money, and then you have the amateurs who just do it for fun. It's mainly just for fun and just for personal like goals and stuff like that. So it's, for me, I have sponsors and stuff like that, but I don't get paid necessarily monetarily from them. I get product or heavily deep discounts. I get some money to do events, but not really monetary, because they're trying to run a business and they save that for the big, the major endorsements or the major athletes that are winning money or winning events. So,
Anybody want to ask him anything?
When are there any events on schedule that are coming up? Is there anything that's been reset with what's going on?
Everything's been canceled. Everything's been delayed. I basically wrote off this year.
So there's basically no certainty at all.
Yeah, because of COVID. People are holding out for some events. I feel bad. I mean, I'm also very grateful. I had a hell of a year last year. I was Athlete of the Year for Long Beach, the city of Long Beach. I did an Ultraman. I did 2 Ironmans, 2 half Ironmans. I mean, I had the craziest year of my life last year, and I got to travel around. My sister got married. It was a huge year, and I really, like, this year I was like, man, I'm burned out. I don't know if I'm going to make it this year. And then COVID ironically happened. So for me, I don't want to say it worked out the way it did, but I'm very grateful for the year I had last year, because everything is just done this, everything's canceled this year. So for the right reasons. But,
yeah. So actually, I'm glad to hear that it can turn out positively too, because that is, you basically get a free year where you can introspect and decide.
for me,
Recharge.
if in my life, I mean, for timing reasons, I mean, if something like this were to happen, it really happened at the best time. Not to say I wish that on anyone, but
of course not.
Someone said something interesting on. I just was listening to, I don't know, some music station, and this producer guy was like, "Yeah, I've been working my ass off," and he said something, and he tried not to be rude about it, but he said, I think we all needed this in a way, because we're so go that, I think we all needed a time to step back and reset, and life was getting so crazy. And I mean, I kind of have to agree with him, not to say that this was at all a good thing, but in a way, he's trying to be positive and look at it like, and that's what you have to do. I mean, I see a lot of negativity in the world and a lot of hate and a lot of all this stuff. And granted, okay, but I feel like if we just try to turn a little more positive, things can be better. And that's how I look at life. I try to always stay positive. I mean, stuff happens, but you have to at least turn it into positive. Otherwise, what's the point? It's like, I don't know. That's just my personality. It's the way I grew up. My dad and my parents, always trying to look at the best of every situation. My mom saying it could always be worse. This is pretty bad. It's really bad. But
BLM's working on worse.
Yeah. So, but that's my outlook, and I'm definitely feeling that now, and just trying to make each day better and the best I can, and make the best out of it, and focus on other things too. So,
did you want to say something there? Was that Mark?
I was going to say, BLM's doing their best to make it worse. They were saying how by shutting everything down for just this short 3-month period, we've really cleaned up the air. Yeah, so setting everything on fire has completely undone. All that purification and all that pollution was wiped out. We've had the idiot patrol set black businesses on fire to show how much they hate white people. Real smart group they've been going there.
Well,
so it's hard to take this. The positive to me would be if enough people get knocked off by COVID-19, it might open up the freeway a little bit. More of a Bill Burr scenario is what I'm talking
about. We also get this dust cloud now from Africa. Did you hear about that?
Well, on the East Coast.
Yeah, but I thought it was moving. It was moving out here. I mean, I don't know. Is it going to break up somewhere?
Yeah, it'll just dissipate over the East Coast and give them nice-looking sunsets for a while.
Yeah, well, that's the positive is there's nice sunsets. But
there you are.
Like, on top of everything, Africa sends a big dust cloud over here. I mean, what's next?
I think that the leaders of Africa need to be brought over and teach some of these idiots running the Democrat cities how to run a city. Did you see the one leader in Africa that confiscated all of the COVID tests, tested it on a piece of fruit, tested it on, a pair of shoes, all these different things that were not people and got positive tests.
Yes.
And said, see, there's something fishy going on here. I think we need him running one of our cities.
No, I don't know about that, but
I think I'll trust the Democrats to do a good job. They've been running most of those cities for a few decades already. And as you can see, everything's okay.
They've been running them in the ground consistently, yes.
I mean, Baltimore.
Seattle hasn't been this happy since 1979 when they won the NBA championship.
That's right.
We were supposed to talk about 1979 stuff. So in 1979, the Supersonics beat the Bullets in a rematch, and that was I had some. Well, that was a 5-game series. There were some good moments in that.
Game number 4 at the Coliseum went into overtime, the sign of another typical Sonics Bullets game. Some clutch shooting by DJ in the extra period gave Seattle a 114-112 win and a 3-1 lead heading back to Washington for game number 5.
I think I watched that game. I was in D.C. at the time.
Lenny Wilkins and his players could afford to be confident, while Dick Motta and the Bullets had their backs to the wall. The site was Landover, Maryland.
Yes, but they won the year before.
June 1st, 1979.
Is that Robin Picker?
Nice hair.
And so the Bullets have run off 4 straight points on the Sonics, and the fans here are chanting and yelling. DJ out high. Goes to Sigma.
Yeah, this isn't
Ball
Washington.
knocked away from Sigma, out of bounds at the 2-minute mark, and the Sonics will have 10 seconds to bring it in and got a shot away.
Look at those shirts.
This is Gus nervous time when it
Yeah,
comes
I
to
saw
the fans. It comes into Gus Williams. Gus getting upset. Goes around it. Out of the top of the key. Gus shoots from 18. He hits. Gus Williams 19 points in the ball game. And now it's 90-85. The Sonics by 5. Down to a minute 50 to play. Is it a championship game for the Sonics? Here's Larry White. Feeds out to Hayes. Shoots from 17. Banks it off the board. No good. Batted rebound. Back and under. Reverse layup is good by Bellers.
This goes on for too long. We'll just,
reaching back to nostalgia of 1979.
Brian, and we have this clip from the All-Star game. Brian, this is a trivia question you can answer. Who was the pitcher on the mound
The ceiling is painted
when this happened?
a gray.
This is when the kissing bandit ran out of the field.
And lose the ball in the girders upstairs. That, my friends,
She just came out and kissed the batter. Now she's running down the third baseline.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, and those are real. I mean, they're like, they're well past
well,
D,
she said
E,
she was going to do it. We
F,
met all
triple
kinds of
F.
excitement. We had the imposter, the fellow who played in the Open and just brought a caddy and went there. And
Yeah,
then
the crowd doesn't want to
remember
see
the
her get carried
NBA.
away. Oh, my goodness, look at her.
Shots.
Beautiful.
And then tonight he came out in the
More
Yankee
Gana.
uniform, and some people feel that
Shoulder
he
length
even
blonde hair.
was in the team picture, so it'll be interesting to see.
Okay, so what was the trivia question? Who was
Well,
the pitcher?
who was the pitcher on the mound when Morgana did that? Brian, do you know? His number was
No, I don't
his
recall.
number was 32, and he was left-handed. And he pitched for the Phillies.
Puts a spin on the ball, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess he doesn't know.
Okay.
It's Steve Carlton.
Oh, Steve Carlton.
Carlton.
I think
Okay.
somebody knows.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, you can't ask me because I was born in '79. So.
Oh man!
But I don't.
The perfect year.
So it was a great year for you, but you weren't alive to
You
see.
didn't know it was such a great year.
You didn't see the game when the Boston Bruins went into the stands and started beating up the New York Rangers fans. That was in
No, that would have
1979.
been amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't play hockey like that so much anymore, but it was pretty amazing. But here's
He did not get it as high as he would like to have.
you got the scrum on the ice between the two teams.
Somehow it spilled.
They start moving over towards the boards.
Between Beaton and
Now they're pressed up
Secord,
against the boards.
as the fans are now getting involved.
And then, some of the fans start leaning over the boards, and all of a sudden...
Who was the Boston Bruin that jumped into the stands first?
It was 24, but I don't know how he got over the glass like that.
Ranger fan and all the
No,
Bruins
I
are
don't
going over.
remember.
Gilbert is in there. Peter
1,
McNabb.
2, 3, there's like 5,
They're
6
all
in
into
the
the
camera
stand.
frame there.
McNabb's going up to grab somebody.
He just
About
grabbed
7 or
some
8
guy who's
yards
trying
out.
to get away.
Grab some guy from behind.
Well, this is
Slugging
too bad
away
that
at him.
after the game is over, it gets out of hand like this.
Now there's at least
And,
a dozen
you
Boston
gotta worry
players
about
up
a
in the
spectator.
stands beating on the fans.
Well, the Bruins are at a decided disadvantage, Craig, with those skates, and somebody could get seriously hurt.
Oh, this does
They
the
were
game no good at all.
Quitting themselves
breakout.
quite well there.
That's old
Wait,
time hockey.
hold on. Is that Terry O'Reilly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I have a really great story for you guys. So I also grew up playing ice hockey. I don't know if you knew that, but my dad played as a kid growing up in Canada. He was born in the United States, but he grew up in Canada. I'm sure you got some of that information from him when you interviewed him last week. Okay, so his brother played at Cornell as a goalie, and he played backup. He would have played more, but his teammate was Ken Dryden. So Ken Dryden being one of the best goalies of all time from the United States back in the 60s, and then went on to have an illustrious NHL career, and then announced the 1980 game, the Miracle on Ice. Anyway, I grew up playing ice hockey, and I had the opportunity to go to hockey camp at Can-Am hockey camps, which was in Lake Placid. And I went 2 years in a row, and I stayed with Bill Stowe, who was an Olympic gold medalist, who introduced my dad to rowing. I didn't realize the severity of all this because this was before I started rowing and taking up rowing, and then before I did triathlons and all that stuff. But so I played ice hockey. That was my huge passion. I wasn't very good because I started too late. But anyway, long story short, at these hockey camps, they bring in these pros. It's a very prestigious hockey camp. It's just like amazing, but it's the experience. My dad was like, screw it. I'll make it happen. I'll send you there and it'll be a great experience. I'll never forget it. Well, I never did because Brandon Shanahan showed up, rookie of the year, to show us how to do slap shot. Other huge players showed up. But anyways, I remember Terry O'Reilly shows up at our camp. And we all hear stories about him and all this stuff. This was back in 94, 95 when I was attending these camps. So Terry O'Reilly comes on the ice and we hear these stories, you know, every day we're on the ice, the coaches are like, do you realize what happened here? Do you realize how special you are? And we're like, yes, sir, you know, because that was the Miracle on Ice and all the stuff on that rink. So we were playing on that rink for weeks. And anyway, so Terry O'Reilly shows up and you know, he's aged a little bit, whatever, but he's out there and he's showing us how to do puck handling skills. And so we're doing this. He's a real nice guy. I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Okay, Jack, yeah, you want to do this?" And he's very calm. And we're like, and so I'm discussing this along with the other guys on the rink. I'm like, we hear all these stories about this tough guy, and he's like, you know, he's a fighter, and we're not seeing anything, you know. And so he's like, okay, guys, well, you know, it was great to see you, and I'll see you next time. And I signed some stuff for you, so you'll get a signed picture of me, and great meeting you. And he starts skating away. And I raised my hand along with a couple other guys. We're like, hey, come on. Sorry. Terry, hey, come on. And he's like, what do you want? He goes, show us some moves. You're a fighter. Show us some of these checks. He's like, oh, come on, guys. And we're like, no, we want to know. He's like, okay.
That's what he's known for.
And he gets like, he gets all upset, like all like, you know, and he's like, all right, you want to know a move? Everyone. And the coaches are like, no, Terry, you don't have to. And he's like, no, that's okay. And he gets like, he's like, okay, everyone, choke up on your stick a little bit. So hold your stick with the butt end of your stick sticking out. So we were all like, okay, yeah, this is going to be good, you know. So we choke up on our sticks, like if I'm right-handed, I would choke up my left hand up on, so the butt end is showing, right? So he's like, okay, everyone get in the boards, and we're going to skate down the boards, and you're going to choke up on your stick and pretend that we'll have this guy be the, you know, the guy that gets hit on the boards. So he's like, okay, now he's showing us how to check. And he goes, okay, so I want you to choke up as he's skating along the boards. Go ahead and give a nice swing right into the chest with the butt end choked up on your stick. And he goes, that's how you fuck somebody up, is you hit him with the butt end of your stick right up into the gut. And we're like, yeah. And we're all cheering, you know, and like, yeah. And he goes, okay, you guys happy now? See ya, you know. But that's my Terry O'Reilly story, firsthand experience, and got to meet him personally. And we got him fired up, and he showed us a dirty hockey play. So that was
the butt end of
he was so
the
annoyed.
stick.
He was so annoyed. He was like, "I'm here to teach you guys hockey," and we're like, "No, we want to know what you know."
That's not what he was. Yeah, that's not what he was known for.
Yeah, your goon tactics.
He was
and he got so annoyed. He's like, "Damn it, kids!
Can't get away."
He could pull the sheet over us. We don't know any better. And we're like, "Oh no, we've heard, and we've seen."
You could play that. Play that. We got a clip of him fighting Dave Schultz.
Standard operating.
This was a great fight.
Moving in on Schultz, and there they go. O'Reilly and Schultz.
O'Reilly's hitting him with tons of lefts. He was a lefty, I think.
They've battled before in the American Hockey League, and this is O'Reilly's second fight. And listen to the crowd.
This is the second fight, that's
DuPont and Forbes are squared away.
Yeah, this was 1975.
And O'Reilly now holding on as he had the early going, and Schultz wants to get started here.
Oh, 76. Schultz just will not back down.
O'Reilly.
I think I remember seeing this.
He pulled the jersey over Schultz's face, but Schultz, you can't even see what he's punching, but he's still landing it.
O'Reilly carried the brunt in that one.
Oh, he's got him in close
now.
Now
Schultz ready to go again, and O'Reilly wants to rest.
Now they're about to kiss.
Listen to the applause for Terry O'Reilly.
All right, yeah, let's give Terry O'Reilly a big round of applause. He was a nice guy.
He was great, and yeah, he's a nice guy. He was like, we were like, wait, is this the same guy? Is this the guy that's the fighter? Like, the coaches were all talking him up, and the coaches wanted to know too because they had never met him, and Brandon Shanahan, all these guys come out. Each week we had a NHL star, and we're hearing all these stories, and then we're doing puck handling skills. He's like, okay, throw your gloves down the ice. We're like, oh, we're gonna fight, and he goes, no, I want you to get the puck in between the gloves, and we did all these like drills, and I was like, wait, what? Like, we want to know the good stuff. We want to know how to check. We want to know how to fight or hit, not necessarily fight, but we want to know how to check and hit. And here we're doing puck handling skills, and I was like, wait. And so then we agitated him a bit, and then he's like, okay, I'll show you something. So I used that actually when I played hockey. I used that, and it worked. It was dirty, but it worked.
You seem like a real nice guy. I can't imagine you doing any kind of
he probably came out
dirty, underhanded butt end of the stick.
Guys by the boards, put his stick back, and took out a few teeth. He took out a few chiclets here and there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure because we were like, I think age range from like 12 to 15. So I think he was trying to not go that, but we all knew too much, so we were like, yeah, you gotta. And plus the coaches were getting us all riled up about it, like, oh, you realize who's visiting us? And yeah, ask him this question, but anyway, so it was pretty cool. And then my dad was like, oh crap, you're Terry O'Reilly's guy? Oh man, I remember watching him. So obviously he's famous for that. It's like, in my day I grew up with the Kings, so Gretzky and McSorley.
Oh yeah.
And whenever Gretzky got touched here at the Forum in LA, if he got touched, McSorley would come out and just laser beam the guy and just take him out. And it was like it was like clockwork, So
yeah. All right. Well, and now that we're on the subject of any other things from 1979 you want to talk about, Eric?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'll jump right to Animal House.
Well, that was 78.
Yeah, it counts for 79 for me.
It does?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The classic scene is the ending scene where they're disrupting the floats.
This is like Tank driving a tank to Seattle. It's called Mayhem.
This was filmed in Eugene, Oregon.
What the fuck's going on down there?
I don't. Let's stop this now!
Home of the University.
Niedermeyer. Kent Dorfman. He died recently. That was sad.
Always great.
Maybe not even that recently, but he was good. He was funny.
Get up, you faggots. Shouldn't say that to us.
No.
Rolling around on
Smoke bombs. Can't do that anymore.
Well, you can have some other stuff. Tear gas.
Was that tear gas?
No,
the name of the float. What was the name of the float? It wasn't written on the float, on the cake.
It says eat me.
Eat me. Yeah. And out of the massive cloud comes the death mobile.
Staring down on the grandstand with Dean Wormer and the mayor. The car just came out of the smoke. Now ran down the street.
Oh my God.
Talk Somebody in continuity there.
Yeah. How long does this one go on for? All right, yeah, because they can't see it, so it's.
I know.
This was that was too much of a visual clip, I think.
Was Animal House 78 or 79?
That's what I was saying was 78.
It's 78, so
technically that's not 79. Yeah, maybe the movie was showing in 79.
No, I think it was 78.
Yeah, but well.
Hey, I don't have a lot of sports stories, but I went to a it's called Success 2000 seminar with Tony Robbins, and one of the guests was Donald Trump, some guy named Donald Trump, and one of the other guests was a guy named Wayne Gretzky.
They had named two guys with those names at an event. I don't
at a Tony Robbins event, and it was great because when Tony introduced Trump, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump and his hair," which I thought
was the joke.
I paid extra to have lunch with Trump, but Trump blew off the lunch, and it worked out for the best because guess who had lunch with us and told us stories for hours? Wayne Gretzky.
Wow.
It was just like 8 people sitting in a tent having some lunch in Anaheim, and Wayne Gretzky, the great one, showed up and told us stories and chatted with us.
The actual great one.
Made jokes when he didn't feel like showing up, but it was still pretty cool. It was super cool.
When? What year is that?
That was 2000. I still have the book.
Oh, in 2000?
That was 13,
wow. Yeah.
Several years after 1979. 1979, wasn't that the Iran hostage?
Yeah.
Yes, in December.
Yeah.
No, November, the hostage.
Speaking of funny things.
And then the movie Argo, that depicted that whole thing, and then the
Ben Affleck, yeah.
And then a lot of people don't know. It's funny, I brought up in my class years back. I try not to bring up, political stuff in my classes. I try to stay on point with athletics and Olympics and stuff like that because there's a lot of history here in Los Angeles. But I brought up the fact that we have Olympians at the boathouse where we row that qualified for the 1980 Olympics. And someone shouted out in class, that's when Reagan boycotted the Olympics in 80. And I was like, no. It's actually Carter. But,
Carter,
so then we got started there. And I was like, listen, let's not, I just wanted to correct you on
Carter
that.
was
But yeah,
still in
Carter
office in
boycotted the Olympics in 80. And that was a huge blow to Olympians, at that point. I know quite a few of them through my dad, of course. I was just born in 79, but a lot of Olympians in those years that qualified during those Olympics to have it boycotted, that was a huge blow. And then on the other end, from 84, all the Eastern Bloc countries boycotted LA. So those were pretty horrible years. Of course, this year, being the COVID, you can't sort of help that. But
Japan is
delayed a year. That a lot of Olympians got hurt this year as well from that. But that's a different circumstance. When it gets political, that's when it's a little, I don't know. It's uglier, I think. So it's all ugly.
Yeah, that was.
It sucks, yeah.
Mark, did you live in East Berlin or West
Berlin? You're in the sports. You know Don Franken? By chance?
Oh, Don Franken.
No.
Don Franken is a sports talent agent, and he works with my nephew, who is, of all things, half Jewish, half Mexican, but his last name, Weintraub, got him into the Israeli Olympics. I believe they're called the Maccabee Games.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maccabees.
So that's kind of a fun little trivia thing.
Weintraub.
Don does the Method Fest, which is a film festival that I was going to host, but I'll probably not be invited because it's going to be in Beverly Hills. It was already canceled for COVID. But Don is somebody you should meet because he's a huge sports guy, and he represents all these athletes and gets them into TV commercials, yada, 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 yada.
Oh, it sounds like a natural.
Well, there you
I'm
go.
going to have to listen with him. Just go to my Facebook page and look up Don Franken.
Okay. It sounds familiar, actually.
Oh, that's a big name.
Imagine it.
That's a big name, Don Franken.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of Olympians. Actually, here's a trivia question for you guys. I mean, a trivia answer, but I didn't know this. But the most concentrated number of Olympians in the world live here in Southern California. I mean, it's not really a surprise, but because of the weather and stuff like that. But they come here to train.
Yeah, for
but
training.
it is kind of a cool trip. Like, it's a cool thing to know. We have in Southern California the most Olympians that live here in the world. I think it's something like 13,000 or something, or 10. I don't know what the number is, but it keeps growing.
Wow.
And people come here to train. Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely massive, and they in California alone, it's got to be much bigger. But Southern California is huge. So I know for a fact when I rode at Berkeley. We had Olympians coming over from all over the world. So we had Serbians, Germans, British, Norwegians, Canadians, Australians. And when I left Berkeley to come back home, I lived in Jersey for a while in Princeton to train for the national team. Now it's back at Berkeley. The rowing team, U.S. Olympic team, trains out of the Berkeley Boathouse, which is cool. But now most of those guys I graduated with are still in California, so they didn't go back home. They just stayed here because it's the weather and most are engineers, so they have jobs. One guy worked for NASA that I rode with, so he was doing contracts for NASA while he's like a rocket scientist, like literally. So it's pretty cool.
Well, and it's very social. They came from socialist countries, and it's very socialist here. Gavin Newsom and all the Democrats. It's a socialist
Bring us back to
paradise.
politics.
Garcetti and
when I was in college, Gray Davis was the governor.
Gray Davis.
He got,
God bless
you
Gray
guys
Davis.
remember, he got recalled and got ousted, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger took over.
No way, Cruz Bustamante in the meantime.
Yeah, so
Cruz.
And we did have Arnold for how long?
It was 2 full terms, wasn't it?
2 full terms?
Yeah, 2 full terms, but he kind of he got swayed. He kind of gave up, I feel. I remember
work with the legislature.
I remember he tried to push through this big tax cut initiative and all these cool things to make the economy grow, and it just got hammered. Just didn't pass. And I think after that he was just like, screw it. So he kind of gave up.
Yeah, he became very ineffective.
And then he had
years.
that problem with his housekeeper, right?
Yeah.
Is that before or after he was governor that he knocked up the housekeeper?
I gotta believe that was during or maybe after.
I blew a load in the nanny.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's interesting though to know that people come over here to train and then they stay here, and so it's an exciting time.
No, we get it.
Looking
I'm an
forward
immigrant. I was born in
to-
Canada. I moved here. Chab Dog
20.
moved here from the east.
Mm-hmm.
You lived in Manhattan Beach since 2000.
Yeah, and
but
then you
did-
just get used to the weather, and why leave if you can tolerate all the other things about it that you don't like.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Yeah. And then my dad, moved out here in the 60s to train because the trials were in Long Beach. So you got that story from him last week. But he froze his butt off back east, and the weather was terrible. And I experienced just a little bit of that when I lived in New Jersey. The heat and the cold. There's no seasons there. There is, and that's the question you get. Don't you love the seasons? I'm like, no, not really.
it's not exactly. You're not going to get beautiful falls up there, really. But, well, let's see. What was the next thing we were going to talk? Oh, you were going to mention your indoor triathlon. Didn't you tell me something about that? You're doing an indoor triathlon?
Yeah. So
explain how that works.
Kind of a bit of a story here behind it, because we have this gal, paraplegic Paralympian. I don't know if you guys heard about her this week. It's kind of been in the news. But her name is Angela Madison. She rode from Long Beach to Hawaii. So she did this trip 5 years ago. She's already done it, but she did it with one other person. And her dream was always to do it alone, solo. She's done stuff like this before. She's rowed across the Atlantic twice. She's rowed around Great Britain. She's rowed across the Indian Ocean. She's done 3 Paralympic Games. She's done javelin, shot put. She's like surfing. She does everything. She's a Marine, former Marine. She had a back surgery that went botched, essentially, and they cut her spinal cord, and she became paraplegic. So she's been through this whole journey of fighting and determination and inspiration. And so she just passed away at sea in the middle, literally in the middle of the Pacific.
Yes.
Yeah, I just read about that.
Yeah, I heard the news too.
It was like a heart attack?
We don't know what happened. Yeah, she's been a family friend of ours for the last 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
And she embarked on this trip, and so we were really close. As a family, as a friend, she was close to me.
Yes.
I'd see her every week, and she started a California Adaptive Rowing Program in Long Beach. She's been an integral part for Team USA, for Paralympics, and so anyway, she passed away. And one of the things, she has a GoFundMe account, and she's trying to raise money. It's just, these endeavors are not cheap, and she's doing it all self-supported, and she's doing it all on her own. And she's very humble. I mean, she speaks about herself, but it's kind of like she doesn't like it. She does it for herself. I really respect that, because I'm kind of the same way. So her wife, she's LGBT. She's, her wife is asking for help, for these, all this movement. So she's doing that. So my thing to help out, just because she's been such an integral part of a fighter and that kind of aspect of her life, is to do this indoor triathlon and integrate it with rowing. So I was going to do a half marathon row on the machine. So 21,000 meters. It takes about an hour and a half to do that. And then a 112-mile bike on the trainer, which is not fun, but it's indoors. And then a 26-mile run on the treadmill. And I would do it all in my garage. I have all this equipment from the quarantine in my garage. So, and then to do that in one day, to show people that she would do this every day for 60 days or 90 days. When she rowed across oceans, you can't just row for a bit and just sleep for 10 hours. You got to row for 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 24/7. So she does an Ironman essentially every day, because she's training 12, 13, 14 hours a day, rowing straight, so that I wanted to kind of give perspective and then try to raise awareness for her by doing that. So I thought it was a cool thing I just kind of came up with. I actually wanted to do it when this quarantine lockdown was happening, just to kind of get people motivated. But now I'm really I need to do this, and then I can do it for a cause. So, so that's the kind of thing I was thinking about. It's a little nutso, but she also has a daughter. The daughter has 3 kids, so she's really done a lot in her life, and it's just it was really sad. You guys can read about it. Google Angela Matz. I mean, it's all over the news. I'm sure you've seen it, but all over on almost like Today's Show, and all these news outlets have been publicizing it. So that's the idea, and that's the kind of message I wanted to send, and to talk to people about it here too, if they don't know, and then broadcast what I'm doing on YouTube Live. I don't know how many hours I get to.
Yeah, where can people find you and find more information?
On Facebook Live.
Yeah, where can we on Facebook? Where? Please direct us to where we can get more information on this. All of our listeners.
Yeah, I think it's on my Facebook pages. Brandon, if you want to put it on your Facebook page, I'll try to. Broadcast it on Instagram, but I don't know what the time limits are. This is going to take me the indoor triathlon is going to take me over 12 hours. So it's going to be a long day event. So I'll have a way of broadcasting on my Facebook Live. I think you get a number of hours limit, but I'll keep trying to broadcast it. And then if you want to donate, her GoFundMe, just Google Angela Madsen and then GoFundMe, and anything will help. You guys, people have been donating like 10, 15, $20. I mean, it's all massive amounts of people that are getting the word now, and she's trying to raise $50,000. I think she's already at 35 within a week. So it's really great to see that she's making, making herself known and making her story known, and just to fight. And it's great. My mom interviewed her almost 20 years ago. I'm going to put that on, and that's not been seen by the public. I mean, it has, but my mom does this TV show as a hobby way back when, and Angela is one of her guests, but it's not on YouTube. It's not anywhere. I'm like, Mom, you got to get this up.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to get it up for her. I'm going to get it up online for her, and then you'll be able to see her story. But it really fits the narrative of what's going on today, as far as fighting. Not fighting, rioting, fighting for making sure that you're doing things positively and moving forward to make your life better, and making sure you stay positive, and you're making you're doing the right things, and all these things. When life gives you crap like she's been handed, that you rise up and you make positive steps forward. So it's pretty cool, like her message. And it's shown that. I mean, 20 years ago when she was interviewed, and she was doing things back then too that were really cool. So shout out to Angela Madsen.
How close to home it turned out to be.
Good person.
Yeah, I would have no idea.
So when are you doing this? When do you set a date?
So that's a good question. So it's easy to talk about this stuff. Now, when are you going to do it?
Yeah.
So I came up with a date. Actually, it's for myself. I think a little time to prepare for it. It's a big undertaking, a little time to plan. I think July 21st. It's a Tuesday, and here's my thought process on it. July is actually my favorite month of the year, and number 21 is my favorite number. So I'm taking it okay, let's take that date and let's just do it. So it's going to be a Tuesday, July 21st. So, 3 weeks from now.
Okay.
And I think that's a good date too, because it allows more money to be raised. Even then, I think we're going to hit it way over the top, but I want to go beyond that. So I'm going to raise awareness more on that date, kind of just to push it over the edge, to really help out. She's got a movie coming out too. They have a film crew about her life and about what she's doing. And this is all also to raise money for the VA and veterans across the nation, to raise money and awareness for them, because she's a former Marine, or she was a Marine. So yeah.
Okay.
So
we'll keep an eye out for that.
Americans raise awareness for that, and she had Rowworks, my business, on her boat. I helped out in some other ways, and I'm going to help out monetarily here soon, but I also want to try to get people aware and donating and stuff like that. So I'll put that on all my social media handles. You'll see it soon. So in 3 weeks, but July 21st.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we got a few minutes left here. Anything you want to talk about in terms of the sports for 1979, Brian, that sticks out in your mind?
Well, of course, that was the big Pittsburgh Pirate season. We are a family. Just to run a quick overview of what was going on that year, I found something interesting. May 17th, 1979, Dave Kingman of the Cubs hit 3 home runs. Mike Schmidt hit 2. The second was the game winner in the 10th inning. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the Chicago Cubs 23-22 at Wrigley Field.
Great game.
They had 11 home runs and 50 hits in the game.
Wow.
I would have liked to have been there. That game would never ended, get a lot of beers there at Wrigley Field.
And that was the brothers Phil and Joe Niekro tied for National League lead in 21 wins each. That's never happened.
Oh, and one, yeah. Here's another interesting piece of trivia, and I don't know how many times this has happened. In '79, the Steelers beat the Cowboys, and the quarterbacks were wearing the same number. And I don't know how many other times that's happened in Super Bowl history.
Oh, yeah.
Both number 12.
On July 12th was Disco Demolition Night.
Oh,
Disco Demolition.
White Sox had to forfeit the game as they could not play anymore because all the drunken fans rushed the field.
They were blowing up records and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a Bill Veeck event, right?
Well, White Sox had to forfeit the second game.
They would have lost anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure they sucked that year.
Loss.
Was that one of those years that Wilbur Wood lost like 30 games? Maybe it was earlier. And
that was a little earlier. Yeah. Who was it? Is it Gary Templeton? Let me see here. I was looking at something here. Yeah, Gary Templeton, Cardinals, got his 100 hit while batting right-handed. On September 28th, he already had 100 hits while batting left-handed.
Oh.
He had over 200 hits, 100 from each side of the plate.
Oh. Has that ever been done since?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Switch hitters.
I'm aware of. He actually batted exclusively right-handed for the last week of the season, just so he could do that.
Oh. This is this kind of stuff you won't find anywhere else.
Well, on September 7th, 1979, the first cable sports channel, ESPN, is launched. So that was 1979. It began there.
Almost my birthday.
Came there on September 7th.
September 7th.
That was also the year the Sony Walkman came out, too, by the way. So,
yeah,
technology.
I used to run with
almost
those
my
things.
birthday. I'm September 10th. What are you, Brandon?
Oh, I'm September 16th.
Oh, yeah, I'm the 10th.
Well, thankfully you missed the 11th.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know anybody that's 11th.
Although, I mean, we'll never forget, right? But when I woke up one day, it was about a week after the COVID crisis hit, I woke up and I was like, this feels like September 11th. And then that quickly, not to absolutely, disregard that event, huge, massive event, but the severity of COVID meaning this is way worse because this is like days, months, you know what I mean? Like this isn't going away.
Yeah.
And that was like that feeling, but that's just, and obviously everyone's going through it, but it's just that shock, value, and it just keeps going, as we go. And I just hope that, California can keep running and not shut down again. So not to get, whatever, but my business depends on it and a lot of others. And then sports, I hope we can continue the sports as far as, we know that the three, basketball, baseball, and hockey are all starting in a month.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
The
So we
football
hope that
fast
can,
behind it. So.
'cause I think people really need that right now.
We need our
that
competition
outlet.
back. We need our sports. We needed it already. Yeah, we should never have lost it, but that's that.
Yeah, we get our sports back. We get our businesses back. Maybe we'll be happier.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
think
yeah, well, maybe.
it would be a good outlet and for attention to be dissipated, but also to just look forward to those things. I think those are small victories we can all celebrate together and get back to some sort of normalcy. And I think it's important. But
sure.
And,
it's just not knowing having a specific date when this is going to end. Is we all know it's going to end, and we all know it's going to be sooner rather than later, and we will go back to full. All this talk it'll be new normal. Screw that.
When we get a
normal.
vaccine, that's when it ends.
Yeah, or herd immunity or whatever. And along the way, every day we get a little more comfortable with our take on the matter and the reality of it, and we see that it's only a matter of time that once we get in, then as players, as people test positive, they go out for 2 weeks, and then I'm sure after that we'll just start mixing with each other anyway, and we'll know. Just come back to just weighing the risks of life. It was all scary 3 months ago when we couldn't weigh these risks, but now we can. And now that we can all make informed decisions because it's
right.
we have the freedom under our Constitution to do so.
You know personally that bought it thanks to COVID.
What's that?
How many people do you know personally that bought it thanks to COVID?
I heard of maybe 5 people, but I didn't know them personally.
Yeah.
Actually had it, or
one of my
no, that died.
One of my Facebook one of my
Exception.
Facebook friends had it early on for a couple of weeks. Recovered. I lost my brother-in-law though about 3 weeks ago, and that's what they said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our family members, my brother-in-law's sister. So but she had a coma-induced ventilator for a month, so that was pretty heavy. Yeah, that was
you don't want to go on a
we were all
ventilator.
praying that she would make it. She made it. She survived, but that's pretty heavy. So we know people, and so when I think when it happens to you personally, you take it obviously more seriously. And so now I'm running a business, and there's people who are not coming back, but we've had a good amount of people that have come back and are starting to work out, and then we have some people who want to wear masks and some people don't, and some people who want to enforce it upon everybody to wear a mask. I'm like, listen, there's lines where you have to go, and you're trying to work with everybody, but it's frustrating. So we're just trying to do the best we can, but without going nuts either way. And I just try and stick on point with, hey, exercise is important, and I think it's important for everyone to realize, along with sports, activity is important to keep moving every day and try to live a good life, because that's like insurance, for your health, and you have a better chance of fighting these diseases and viruses with that than without it. And also mental health. Mental health is huge. We got to get back to, not to get all philosophical and stuff, but we got to get back to life, because otherwise the long-term effects will have serious repercussions on people's lives, mentally.
Suicide rates already increasing.
Suicide rate, people getting alcoholism, drugs. I mean, there's all sorts of repercussions from all of this shutdown.
We're all going to need some therapy after this.
Jack,
I'm just shocked that the one dude that's worth $590 million jumped off of his 27th story.
Yeah, I was very, very sad to see that fellow, the suicide.
What happened?
He jumped off up in Century City on Santa Monica Boulevard.
He was the former boyfriend of Elizabeth Hurley, and I thought, if you got $590 million in the bank, I'm pretty sure you can get away with doing whatever you want, take a vacation, go somewhere. Mm-hmm. But he really took this isolation seriously, and it messed him up.
Yeah, he was very despondent. There may have been a love interest involved too.
I was going, finally, they're leaving me alone.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
a little differently,
We've hit the 2-hour mark here, so we're going to close with a more uplifting song and keep people in the right frame of mind going into next week. And it's
because when we began the show, Chab Dog, we commented that over the last 24 hours, we finally had a calm news cycle.
Yeah,
nothing crazy, outlandish,
bad,
I think
nothing crazy happened last night.
We woke up this morning and it was the same world.
It was almost
we went
like
to bed with, so.
A normal Sunday.
Almost.
but of course we have next week to deal with.
Yeah,
and,
we'll deal with next week when we get there. In the meantime, let's celebrate that victory here with some Donna Summer.
All right, so we're going to go off with Donna Summer from 1979 and one of her big hits on the radio. And thank you guys for calling in a lot, Mark Hopkins. And
what's the name of the song, Jeb Dog?
Well, it's on the radio.
Yeah, I know it's on the radio. What's the name of the song?
Who's on first?
I'll try to call in sooner next time.
All right, Brian Keller from Sports Rock. Jack Nunn, thank you very much. I love having you on.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Anytime.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Thanks.
See you next week. Signing off at Chab Dog Sports.
Cheers.
All right, crank it up.
They never said your name.